Hey everyone, and thanks for jumping back into the cryptoverse. Today we're going to talk about Bitcoin and the fact that so far we have not had any weekly closes in the peak logarithmic regression band. If you guys like the content, please subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and also check out the Telegram channel, which you can find a link to in the description below. Let's go ahead and jump in. So we've looked at these weekly candles before. We know we've had a few daily wicks that have gone into our peak regression band, but no weekly closes so far at this point. We moved into the peak regression band back in February for the first time this cycle at around $58,000. We crossed it in March at around $59,400. Now the bottom, the lower part of our peak regression band is currently coming in at around $60,624, and we do know that it's moving up by maybe $60 to $70 per day. So one of the things we will say though, again, to remind everyone, is that we do not necessarily know that any model fit to 3 data points has to be, we're not saying it has to be predictive. To the contrary, I think taking some level of precaution when a lot of models are flashing that we are getting fairly heated is fine, but taking it to the bank and saying that it has to be predictive can be misleading. Remember, the bottom regression band is fit to thousands of data points and was instrumental in helping us identify the accumulation phase. Okay, the peak regression band is only fit to 3 data points with some uncertainty here. And now, if you're curious, the entire peak regression band with our uncertainty ranges from $60,362 up to $89,000 or so. Okay, and that's on the weekly time frame. If we go, and which is only updated weekly, of course. If you go to the daily time frame, it's from 60,624 up to 89,401. So we are starting to flirt with the 6-figure level if you're talking about the peak of the regression band. Remember, back 2 cycles ago, we were in fact able to go above our peak regression band that we have fit here. And from the peak regression band, we went up about 11% from that level. So even at the current day, if the price of Bitcoin were to go up 11% from the top there, it would be flirting with about $100,000 Bitcoin. So we've reached that point within Bitcoin's life that a $100,000 Bitcoin is theoretically possible. However, that doesn't necessarily mean that we have to hit it right away. Remember, a lot of times we likely will in prior cycles we've shown that we will trend back towards that bull market support band, which is the 20-week SMA and the 21-week EMA. So far, we have not tested that since October was our last test of it this cycle. We've more so been holding the 8-week moving average as support since October. And we talked about this about a month or two ago, and then we recently came back down to it at around $51,000 and basically held it as support again. And so we'll see if it continues to hold as support. Now, if you go back 2 cycles ago, remember we held it more or less as support for a while, maybe even a shorter term moving average. Whenever we did break it, we actually fell below the bull market support band. So if we go into the peak regression band now and have weekly closes above it, and we do something like this, we know that Bitcoin will be getting extremely overheated in the short term to have such a move like this go from 10K to, if it does go to 100K in a relatively short period of time, that would be getting extremely overheated. Now, if we don't do that and we come back down, that doesn't necessarily mean it's the end of the market cycle. One test will be the bull market support band, and even like 2013, we saw that after a long test of, say, a shorter term moving average, whenever we did finally break it, we actually went below the 20-week moving average for a while before ultimately trending back above it and putting in a higher high in the same calendar year. So there's a lot of possibilities here, and remember, there's also a lot of indicators that say that there still is a decent chance that in the grand scheme of a market cycle for Bitcoin, that time is on our side. Now again, we're only at the bottom part here of our peak regression band. Of course, a correction could come anytime, and we never know when it could happen. But if history is any indication, the market cycle still could theoretically have a ways to go, and we have not even tested the bull market support band again since October. Now, I would be somewhat careful with a lot of people, and I've seen a lot of people saying that the peak will be in September now. It used to be December of 2021. Now I'm seeing September thrown around by a lot of different people. Remember, we do not really know. We cannot operate in a deterministic manner like that, in my opinion, because that's how you get burned. Because if the stars align and it seems like the peak is actually in July, then why would you stick around till September just because there's some nebulous single indicator that points towards something like that? So what I would say is to remain flexible with things, and we'll see how things play out on the charts. Remember, we know that sentiment can change on a dime, and the people that would be calling for a peak in September are probably thinking that it will it will continue to have a lot of significant months ahead, which it could, right? And if it does that, then we will keep an open mind and say that's possible. However, we also know that sentiment can change on a dime, and that if we do get a couple months where we don't continue to put in new all-time highs, then the market can cool down, people can go back to their daily business for a while, and then if the market starts trending back up again, then people will get excited, and then we'll talk about where we are within the market cycle. But so far, things for Bitcoin still seem relatively bullish. We continue to hold the 8-week moving average as support, which is currently at around $54,000. We're just shy of the peak regression band, which is now around $60,000. We have had 2 or 3 wicks on the weekly time frame go into our peak regression band. And remember, the peak regression band now at the top is over $89,000. So it is getting pretty high up there, and it will only continue to go up with time. So if you guys like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up. Let's get to 300,000 subscribers. Remember, you can sign up to the premium list, which you can find a link to in the description below, intothecryptoverse.com. If you want to pay with crypto, you can get 10 to 15% discount. So check that out depending on the time frame you sign up for. I hope you guys enjoyed the content. Click the bell icon to turn on your notifications, and I'll see you next time. Bye.